Okay, so the good news is adding XY data to Arc is super easy. The bad news is there's about 26 places that it can go wrong. So the first thing I'd suggest is in Excel, make sure that you've got a header for each one of these, and just remember that the 7-digit, the one that's 4 million something, is your northing. That's how far we are in meters away from the equator. The easting is going to be a 6-digit number. So you can either put an E and an N, or easting, northing, or something like this. But then I would do, just to protect yourself, a save as, and then do down here, make it a text. Oopsie, that's off the screen now. Nice. Make it a text tab delimited like this. It's right here. So instead of saving it as an Excel workbook or anything like that, get it into this super generic format. This seems to work more often the right way with ArcGIS. My guess is if you look in the table when you bring it in, if you look at the attribute table, one of your values will say null, and that's because Excel and Arc don't get along all the time. So get around that by saving it as a tab delimited text file. Hit save. So I'm just going to cancel out of that because I already have it. Then I would close this all together, and then when you add it, that also helps break a bad step. Hang on one second. Okay, so here's that text file. I'm going to add it in. Right click first of all and open it, and just make sure that you have, oh, where's my opening? It's way over here. Make sure that you have values in each one of these. Null is one of the biggest problems that happens, and it's hidden, so unless you look in the attribute table you won't see it. So now that that looks good, you right click, display XY data, and then here you need to make sure you're getting these right as well. So the Y is the one that goes this way, and so that's your change. I think of it as pointing north. So that's your northing, and then the X field is your easting. So leave those like that. Make sure you get a coordinate system in here, so you can go to projected UTM 983, and then UTM Zone 12. Add that in, and then hit OK. It's going to give you this thing about not having an object ID field, and that's fine. So that should work. Adding base map is going to take about 48 hours because Arc is moving like a snail for me, but anyway, I'll pick something. Then remember that this thing, this point, when you do get it in the right place, is just a temporary sketch. So you're going to want to make sure that, oh, for goodness sakes. Where are we at here? Snow basin, that looks right. You're going to want to make sure that you take this thing, right click, data, export data. Because it's an event, you need to turn it into a shapefile. So we want to export that point. We set the right coordinate system, put it where you want it to go, but when you do that, make sure you change this to shapefile. And I would just call it snow basin. And just get it in the right location. Okay, hit save, and then that thing will be bufferable. So there's a bunch of stuff that can go wrong. Number one, if you don't save it as a text file, Arc doesn't read the Excel table all the time correctly. You get a null value. Switching the X and the Y and the northing and easting can be another problem, and then not getting it saved to a shape file can be another problem. So let me know if that stuff doesn't fix the issue, and hopefully it will. Okay.